One thing I like to say about closeout week is the momentum and the excitement of getting a sale. It changes everything. So tonight we're gonna go through some sales tips and some things that help you, but also how to get 1% better, like dealing with objections. But we're also gonna talk about persistency and placement, persistency, keeping clients on the books, how to track that. We were informed that a couple of carriers are making some changes. So you definitely want to do your due diligence because when we sign up a client, it's not a one-time thing. It's a relationship. You're building a relationship with that client. Many of you saw in the chat that I closed that $1 million annuity. It took me almost 3 months to close that because the client had to trust me. He had to trust me in order to take $1 million out of his account and wire it over to another company. And that's the things we're going to talk about today. So, Crystal, do you want to go ahead and touch on your part first, or you want me to go through the trader first?
Yeah, I can go ahead on and touch on this really quickly if the system will let me be great. So many of us, we talk about persistency. We don't talk about it a lot, but we're going to really start to talk about a whole lot more because a lot of the carriers are really focused on your persistency. Persistency means how much of your business is staying on the books, okay? And you want to keep your persistency high because that lets the carrier know that number one, those customers value their service. And then number two, you value your book of business. And number three, there is such a thing called residuals, okay? The longer the person keeps their policy, you will have that residual income. You won't have residual income if that person does not stay on the books or if they keep jumping from place to place. So that's not anything that we want. So with Americo, obviously, your consistency is right when you open up the screen, okay? So you always want to be over 70% or more. So this is my persistency, not bad, could be better, but whatever. All right. A lot of us have moved. Raise your hand or drop a thumbs in the chat if you have Mutual of Omaha, okay? Because I do realize and recognize that some people on the team don't have Americo, but you have Mutual of Omaha. Well, Mutual of Omaha, I had a phone call with Heather LaRue. We know Heather. She is our contract manager and with Mutual of Omaha. And I had a conversation with her this week. So I just want to touch on this very quickly. You want to make sure that you have at least 85% or higher persistency with Move. If you have less than 85%, you are going to get a portion of your compensation. You're not going to get your full comp. That's just it in a nutshell. You may be as earned. You may get 50% of it. Don't ask me the semantics. Just make sure you stay at 85%. That means follow up with your clients. Make sure they keep their policies. Make sure that first draft, that premium pulls. I mean, listen, guys, we are in this for the long haul. You are not in this for the quick win. I promise you, you are not. You're going to just quit now because you're going to cause yourself a lot of pain. And we don't want any pain. You don't want chargebacks. You don't want debt. You don't want lawyers and attorneys. You just don't want it. We are here to protect families. And the best way to protect families is to keep that on the books. If you want to know your persistency, log into your Mutual of Omaha SPA, which is Sales Professional Access. And right here, everybody is familiar with this screen because this is where you go your online quote tool and to the applications to the left. If you look over here to the right, you can see all of your policies that you have written right here under policy management. I encourage everyone to download that and go through them. Check your book of business, say hi to your clients, reach out to them. But if you also go down here, in book of business download, also right here where it says QPP, this is where you can find out your persistency, okay? So I encourage everybody to click on this, open it up, look at your persistency. They do quarterly reviews of persistency. That is correct, quarterly. Every 3 months, they are looking at persistency. There is no way to run. There is no way to hide because they're going to send it to you in your email. Raise your hand if you've ever seen an email saying either your persistency or even if a policy is didn't last about to last. Moo is very good at communicating. I'll be honest with you. You are just not checking your business or checking your emails if you don't see any communication from Moo. You can't say, "Oh, I didn't get anything." You just ain't checking your emails because they send stuff every day. Okay. So if you want to see your persistency, go right there to the QPP persistency report. Make sure you're over 85%. How do you keep it above 85%? Great question. Write more business and make sure that first draft pulls and make sure they stay on the books for at least 6 months to a year. They need to stay on for forever, but you want to keep it for a very long time.
So you said 3 month, 85%.
So
Go ahead.
they give you two things in your email. They give you your 3 months and then they give it to you for the year. So you want your 3 month persistency to be at least 85% or higher.
You said write more business. So I just want to kind of jump a touch on that because let's think about it. Let's say in 3 months' time, let's say 3 months. 3 months, you only roll, let's say, five policies. All right, five. And in that 3 months, two of them fall off. Well, let's just say one of them fall off in that 3 months. So what is your persistency if you lost one out of five? It's less than 85. But if you wrote, let's say, 25 in 3 months, so 30, let's say 30, you did 10 each month in 3 months. Out of that 30, you lost four, five. You're still over 85%. That 85% is easy to maintain when you're just doing what you normally do, which is submitting business. You can't maintain that 85 if you're doing one every 3 months or two every 3 months or three. So the bigger the number makes it easier because you might be asking how somebody got 85 and 90% persistency. You know why? Because they write a lot of business. Whereas if you're writing four apps and you lose two of them, you're at 50%. But if they writing 50 apps and they lose five, they still at 95%. So it makes it easier for you to maintain those numbers. You might don't get scared. I gotta do 85. No. If you out here doing what you say you do, whether you're doing this full time or you're doing this part time to replace your full time job, it shouldn't be hard to do 15, 20, or 30 in 3 months time.
Yeah, I just wanted to add thanks. I just wanted to add that, 3 month persistency, 85%, 12-month persistency should be over 75. So it falls right in line with many of the other carriers. But for any of you all who have been wondering about their compensation, why it looks a little low, you know the policy process, but you don't know why you're not getting your full comp, or it just seems weird, check your persistency. That will probably answer a lot of your questions.
Yeah, and then right now, I don't know if I can make changes or ask for, what I call it is our personal guarantee. So I put my neck on the line and say, hey, this person's gonna get it up. Can you put them on full advance? I don't know. I don't know if they'll let me do it. I can try, but I can't make no guarantees that I can fix that. So just stay on top of your persistency. It's gonna help you be better clients. What Crystal talked about checking your back office, I went through and checked my back office for American Amicable and Prosperity. Prosperity pretty much folded over to American Amicable. So I logged into American Amicable and I was sharing with her the other day. I looked at all my book of business from AM and Prosperity combined. It was probably maybe 70 apps. You know how many I had that were terminated or lapsed spending? Five. So you're talking about in 4.5, 5 year period of time, I got 75 just with this one carrier, and I've only lost five. You know why? Because some of y'all heard me calling my clients the other day. They know me by name. Hey, Kendall. I follow up with them. I do everything I can. I don't just date them and drop them and dump them. I date them and we married now. Once you get a policy with me, you married. We married. You ain't going nowhere. You ain't going nowhere. Like we locked in. And that's the way I feel about my clients. Like, no, we locked in. So the gentleman the other day, let's talk about that because we talk about sales now. So how did I get him to decide to do $1 million? Well, couple of things. You have to build trust. I had to build trust with this gentleman in order for him to say, hey, this is what I want to do. Now, when it comes to trust, I had to show him credibility. I had to show him credibility with the company as well as this is what it's going to. Then I had to find out what are you actually looking for? What do you want this money to do for you? Do you want lifetime income or do you want it just to grow? Now, we have done this process with this gentleman, like I said, going on from July 25th till Friday when he wired the $1 million over. 2 Fridays ago, I went to the bank with this gentleman and he pulled out 800,000 and then he was pulling out another 200 and he got 2.4 million in his checking and safe. Now, I'm sitting for 2.5 hours at the bank. It's like, I can get the check now. He said, no, I want to get wired to a thing, which is the company. I want to wire it. Now, in the midst of him talking about wiring the money, he was like, I'm gonna do it sometime next week. I said, well, let's go to lunch. We went to lunch, we talked, um, typed up everything, submitted it off, and then I said, okay, because of his age, they're gonna do a phone call. I'm just trying to paint the picture of how it went. All right. After we did the thing called him, did everything. He said, well, Mr. Clark, I guess I'm gonna go ahead and wire this money over to him tomorrow. 45 minutes later, he calls me and says, you know what? It's too many variables. I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna keep my money. I'm better off putting it back in my bank account. I can get 5% and pull 121 a year. Like I just don't want to do it. So I said to him, you know what changed? Because initially he did the same thing a couple days ago. His nephew was like, "You don't just give somebody $1 million. They ain't give you no paperwork or anything." I said, Mister So and So, we typed up everything online. We went out to lunch. I submitted everything. They did the phone call. Like everything is credible. He was like, "I'm not gonna do it." This is on Monday. So I picked the head of Dean, and me and Dean talked, and I said, he said, "Why don't you offer him another product and do 500,000 or 800,000?" I said, "Yeah." I was like, you know what? I'm gonna drive to his house, and he lives 60 miles away. Now, what was my intentions? I printed the three illustrations: one for 500, one for 800, one for a million. I also had a one for 1.2 million. My thought process was, whatever he does, I really don't care. I will walk away from this after today. So when I drove to his house and we went down to his basement and we sat at the table, and this weekend, today is his birthday. So I said, you got plans? He said, yeah, I'll probably go down the beach. And, he's 77, but he's like that 77-year-old man who who looking for a 45-year-old. Like he wants some young. He said, man, you ain't got no friends and no ladies. I was like, thinking to myself, don't know the women on my team want you. But I said, no, I'll look around for you, sir. I'll look around for you. But as we sit there, I said, listen, this is what I'm doing today. I'm not here to convince you. I'm not here to tell you that you need to do this. I'm here to explain everything, to answer all your questions. And after today, if you don't want to do it, hey, I still don't mind being friends with you, but I'm not going to drive back down here to talk to you about doing this again. Does that sound fair? He said, yeah. So I took the paper out, I took a highlighter, I circled it, I broke down what this meant. 800,000, if you put it into annuity, it's going to give you $160,000 bonus. And this is for growth. If you want this money to grow, that your beneficiaries can have it in 10 years' time, that 800,000 will be 2.2 million based on 7%. If the market just did 7. Then I showed them the most recent 10 years, the market averaged 11%, but I showed you 7. Now I could have easily did an illustration for 15%, but I'm not being realistic. So I'd rather show you worst case. The lowest recent 10 years was 11%. I showed you 7. Now here's 500,000. This is what 500,000 would look like. So I said, so what is your goal? Do you want money left to your son, the beneficiary, or do you want lifetime income? Because that's initially what you wanted. You wanted $80,000 a year for 12 from 77 to 95. You know what he said? I'm not worried about my son right now. I want all the money I got now. I said, well, let's do this. Well, let's go with the initial one. You've already done the phone call. You already got approved. All you got to do is wire over the money. Now, when it's time for you to pull the money, you got two options. You can say, I want it level or I want enhanced, which means level is going to be 81,000 from now until the age of 95, 96. Or you can say, I want it enhanced, which means it's the first year it's going to start out 66, then it could grow more, but it might not. It might not be 81,000, depending on what the market's doing. At that time, you said you want this money to sit and grow, correct? He said, yeah. So do you want to cut on the income now or a year from now? He said a year from now. So how much do you have coming in right now? He said, well, I did the math. I need about 16,000 coming in monthly. I said, okay, you got 80,000 right here, 81,000. But if you break that down, that's about 7,500 a month. Then you still got the 2.4 in the bank, right? He said, yeah. I said, if you drew the interest on that, I said, you got your 16,000. Your $1 million house is paid for. So did I accomplish everything that you said you wanted? He said, yeah, Mr. Clark, you did. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to call the thing today and tell them you're wiring the money today. Is that correct? He said, yeah, I'm going to wire the money when we leave. Now, the agent who was with me, I had already closed it. I said, I'm going to tell them you're sending it today. All I need you to do is call me and tell me that you did. He's all right, Mr. Clark. The agent was sitting with me. I needed him to be deaf, dumb, and mute because he kept talking. See, you're making a great decision. Now, I don't want you to rush the decision. If you need time to think about it, if I could have kicked him under the table, I would have kicked him. He's like, don't rush this decision. Make the right decision. And he gonna pull race in it. He was like, you don't want them white boys to talk you out of it. I said, hey man, we gotta go, man, because he got to get to the bank. We got to go. So all of a sudden, he want to do a tour of the house. So he's showing us around the house. He said, I'm thinking about selling it, blah, blah, blah. It's a nice house. It's a nice house. He want 1.4, 1 million. I said, you probably get 1.4. You got 5 bedrooms. You got a sauna on the back. You got an exercise room. You sit on 2 acres. He said, yeah, but it's in the middle of nowhere. I said, yeah, but people with money like being secluded. I said, so come on, man, let's go so you can get to the bank. Once again, he talking again. I said, come on, man. He's ready. So we get out to the front of the house. I said, Mr. Noah, don't forget, call me when you're wiring the money. So when we get to the front, he said, you think you're going to do it? I said, man, it was closed. I said, everything closed. I put in his head, call me when you wire the money. I'm going to let the thing know that you're doing it today, not tomorrow, today. These are things you say with a client. When you become my client, this is what I'm going to do for you. When you close the client, say, listen, my job is to get you approved and qualified. Now, once you're my client, we're clients, you're my client for life, which means these are some things I can do for you. We can at least put this in place right now, something you're comfortable paying. We can always revisit it later since you're my client. So those are things you say when you closing your deal. So I drove, and it took an hour and some change to get home. I got a phone call right when I got home. Mr. Clark, I'm broke now. They got my million. I wired it. I wired it over. I ain't got nothing. I ain't gonna hear from you no more. I said, man, you like family to me. And I told him this. I said, listen, Mr. Norman. And I showed him all my clients with a thing. I said, Mr. Norman, we got 15 million assets under management. And one of these people up here is my mother. Now, Mr. Norman, and this is with me closing it too. I said, Mr. Norman, he said, man, you got a lot of clients. I said, you know what? My mother, I love my mother. Mr. Norman, I like you. I wouldn't have my mother do something who I love if I didn't think this was a good company. Because you okay, I like you, but I love my mom. So I wouldn't have my mom with a thing that I love if this wasn't a good company. He said, yeah, you got a point there, Mr. Clark. Because if it wasn't a good company, this is my mother that I love, she wouldn't be with a thing. But I'm trying to set you up with the same company that my mother has. Closing. So no said he closed it, he sent it off, it'll pay out sometime this week. So when you with a client, you have to be that forceful. Also be ready to walk away from the deal. I was ready to walk away. So let me share something with you guys. Any questions or comments before?
How did you
Go ahead.
initially build that rapport where he can trust you? Because I can't, you know,
The
are they new
credibility of the
people?
company. You
Okay.
credibility of the company. I'm showing them the credibility of the company. This is the company. This is what it's going to do for you. In sales, you got to find what are they looking for and show them how it can help. Plain and simple. I'm not a thing, but the thing does this, this, and this. Also, these are my clients. Oh, like I got 40 personal clients, but as an agency, we got like 130 clients. We've done 15 million assets under management. A couple things I want y'all to listen to. It's quick, it's brief.
We need to do 80% listening and only 20% talking. But that 20% talking, we cut that in half. %10 is asking questions. 10% is asking questions, probing questions. What are your biggest challenges, your hopes, your dreams, your aspirations? What are you investing in now? What's working, what's not? How much property do you have in your portfolio now? Where do you want to be in 5, 10, 20 years' time? Ask them. And then how much is left? 10, very good. That 10% is all you have and all you need for selling.
A lot of it's listening. You have to listen to the client. It's an 80-20. 80% listening, 10%. That's it, asking questions. The more questions you ask, I had to ask them, what are you really trying to accomplish? Do you want lifetime income or do you want it to grow? Are you trying to leave something for a loved one? Or are you trying to live your best life with this money? But Neil, you can find clients that have $1 million with these leads. You just got to ask the question. I had a lead he had like 1.8 that we were working on. So yeah, it's no special lead type that you're going to find money. You just got to ask the question. What else do you have that acts like life insurance that pays out upon death? Christy on the team is at 1.4 million in annuities. On pace to hit Hall of Fame annuity, and she still works a full-time job. So it's just simple. Ask the question. You'll be surprised. People have money. And over time, you will find it. I've been doing this thing for 5 years, and this is the first $1 million annuity I closed. I've closed some 500s, I closed some 600s, but it was the first one. Does that happen quick? No. Because you got to think, a person that has that type of money always has a financial guy. I'd rather deal with the 100s to 200s to 300s because somebody who got millions of dollars, they got a financial guy. Their financial guy's going to tell them don't do it. And then you got to fight that. You got to fight and battle what they say. So, it's no special lead. You don't want annuity leads. They don't work. It's just regular leads. Just ask the question.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, don't be afraid to ask the question, but also don't do the presentation right there. That's not the time. Go ahead, sell the life policy. That's what they call for. And then set up a BAM fam. BAM fam is book a meeting from a meeting. So if you've seen that in the WhatsApp, that's what that means. Okay. It's not the Flintstones. Okay. BAM fam, book a meeting from a meeting. So that means that you're going to go ahead and set up and say, hey, you know what, Mr. Kendall? I understand you have this money. I have a gentleman on my team who can really show you how to invest that. But tell you what, let's go ahead on and schedule that out for another appointment. But let's go ahead on and take care of your life policy today. That's all you want to say. Just get the information, pass it to Kendall, pass it to myself. We both have done lots of annuities on this team. And so we can help you structurally. We can show you what's right. But that is not the meeting to do it. Not in that appointment. Set up the meeting from the meeting as a follow-up.
So do we necessarily have to get them to send us their statements in order to do it?
Nah, I don't need that. I mean, yeah, if they have it, but I'm not gonna let a statement hold me up from closing the deal. He didn't show me not one statement. Not one statement.
Okay.
He told me what he had. I got $1 million in my money market. I got about 2.3 in checking and savings. Then I got about 50,000 cash here. I got that. I'm not waiting on a statement. If you're ready to do business now, because most people don't get paper statements. They get everything by electronic.
Yeah, website.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. So I ain't got time to wait on that. Yeah, you don't let a statement hold you up from closing the deal? Nah. Let me share this next one with y'all. All right.
The worst performing.
I'm scared to death.
The worst performing salespeople in terms of their ability to close deals at a high value are the relationship builders. You can trust someone and not necessarily like them. You can be like, that guy's a bit of a jerk, but he knows what he's talking about. So I trust his opinion. I've never seen an organizational buyer go, we went with that person because they were just a really nice person. If there's not some tangible ROI that's going to positively impact the business, that's just not going to happen. The trusting of the opinion part is the #1 buying criteria for a company.
How many of you have been nice in your presentations? And you built this great rapport, and you've been so nice to them, and man, I'm gonna get it. They're not gonna do it today, but they're gonna call me. How many? Put a 5 in the chat if you feel like you're nice, you're professional. What did he just say? Nice don't get it. I'll put it to you like this. I hate to say it this way, but in school, how many of you guys were the nice guy? But you know what the nice guy did? He watched the girl go with the bad boys. The nice guy walking home, but the girl that's in
Nice
11th
guy finished
grade
last.
getting picked up by the dude that's like 20 years old in 12th grade, they're driving the Beamer, and they wave at you as they pass you walking home. So in sales, like, you can be as nice as you want to be, but nice. He didn't decide to do business with me because I was a nice person. He decided to do business with me because I was real and I knew what I was talking about. Like the first time when I sat with him on July the 25th, and I showed him everything, and I showed him what he could get, and he said, "Well, I got to think about it." And you know what I told him at the table at his house? I said, "Think about it." I said, "I didn't drive 60 miles for you to think about it." I said, "I'm the CEO of my agency." I said, "I don't come out the house for think about it. When somebody brings me in on this conversation, it's for me to close the deal." So what do you have to think about? I said that right there in his house with his nephew right there. Now, how many of you would have said that to a gentleman at his house trying to close a deal? How many of you would have said it? Don't,
Maybe as of
don't, don't,
today.
don't. Yeah, today you will, but don't lie. I'm gonna tell you, don't lie. Don't lie. Just don't put no hands up at all. 'Cause you know what I'm gonna tell you? I'm gonna tell you. I'm not gonna say you lying. You're not telling the truth. Because if you were telling the truth, y'all be some top producers right now and Hall of Famers. So don't say you would do something I know you wouldn't do. Your numbers will reflect that you doing that. Because I straight told him. He said, "Man, you bold." I said, "Man," I said, "I'm not hurting for this deal. I'm here to kind of help you." And from that conversation, guess what? He called me that week and kept calling me. He didn't call the agent to introduce it. He kept calling me, "Mr. Clark, you think you can figure this out? You think you can, you know, tell me what 2 million looks like. Tell me what 1.5 looks like, Mr. Clark." And then when he was ready to do it, he called me and said, "Mr. Clark, I know I said 500,000. I think I want to do 1 million." Because I wasn't the nice guy. I was a guy who was straightforward and was willing to walk away, but also knew what he was talking about. So when you're sitting with a client on the phone and you're like, I don't want to push them away. Well, you don't have it anyway. You're being nice and you're not getting it. Why don't you be a little forceful and get it? Because being nice will have them, you know what? He's a nice young man. And then when you call them back in 2 months because they told you they want to wait for 2 months, they've already got it for somebody else who didn't take that niceness, who was ready to tell them, "Listen, you said you want to wait for 2 months. I don't know if I'm gonna be here in 2 months. You don't know if you're gonna be here in 2 months." And for some reason, it's a purpose why we on this phone call today. I'm gonna be real with you. I'm not gonna call you in 2 months because you ain't my client. If you were my client, I'll have you locked in my phone. I'll remember who you are and everything. But you're not my client. I got other people that help. I'm probably gonna forget about you in 2 months. So let's go ahead and take care of this today so I can lock you in to make sure your family's covered. Because didn't you tell me that you wanted to get this insurance because you want to leave a check for your daughter? And you already said you don't know what it's going to look like if you died today without it. So if you didn't approve today and you don't get it today, my family's going to be okay. But will yours be? All right, who you bank with?
When do you draw the line between assertiveness and almost blatantly rude?
I believe there's no way to
As the
be
agent.
rude unless I don't believe you. I don't know. I don't believe there's any way to be rude unless you raising your voice at them or you cussing at them. That's to me. That's the only way you can be rude because assertive is repeating back every. Remember, 80% listening. I'm listening because I'm taking notes on everything they're saying. Assertive is okay, Reggie. Now you just told me that if you didn't get this insurance today, you don't know what your mom's gonna do. So why you want to think about it, Reggie? You already know what to do. So if you don't get this, Reggie, what is that gonna look like for your mom? You just told me that you worry about your mom. You've been thinking about it for 50 years, Reggie. You think you got 50 more to keep thinking? The price ain't gonna ever go down, Reggie. One thing people like is hearing their own name. Reggie. Ain't that right, Reggie? Someone repeat back Reggie's name. So it's really no way to be rude. You just being real. They might take it as rude because they don't want to hear it, but you're just being real with them. And KG, I like to ask permission. Reggie, can I have your permission to say XYZ? That's not being rude. You ask for permission. And that works for KG. I'm not asking for permission, but that works for her. And that's what she does, and it works for her. But I'm just not gonna ask. I'm not asking. Because if I got you on the phone right now, it's a reason and a purpose. It's a reason and a purpose. But if you don't feel like, if you don't want to be rude and you want to ask for, hey, Reggie, is it okay? Do I have permission to be honest with you? Of course he's gonna say yes. Yeah, you can. Now you have permission to go in and be real and assertive. What I want to do while we got time, we got time. We can run over a little bit of time. I want somebody to sell me this item, but I'm listening because you got to ask me certain questions. You got to ask me questions, and why do I need this item? Jacqueline, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. So I want you to sell me these
Can
items right
oh,
here.
okay.
All right. You got two
Wait a
minutes.
minute.
And if I don't like what you hear saying, I'm gonna hang up on you. All right.
Okay. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Clark. How are you?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm good. So I'm here to show you these sponges that I think that with the car that you have will help you to maintain it properly. Is that something that you think you could use?
Nah, I don't put sponges on my car. I don't put sponges on none of my vehicles.
Oh, wow. Well, this is the latest and the greatest thing that is the industry has brought up. And I got your information, and it seemed like you were interested in one time. What are you currently using now? Or how do you do it now?
Actually, listen, I pay somebody to wash my cars.
Okay. Hmm. Well, somebody recommended you, and maybe it was one of
All
your
right, so stop. Let's
your
stop. Let's
your
stop.
people who works for you.
Exactly. Exactly. All right, let's stop. Let's stop. All right.
Yeah.
Two things. Two things. Two things.
Look, can I
All
look,
right.
look, 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 wait. Let me say this. It is 2 o'clock in the morning where I am right now. So I am struggling to stay awake, but
You know what?
I'm here.
I give you props for that. Like, we gotta clap it up. It's 2 o'clock in the morning where you are. Where are you right now? Where are you?
Morocco.
Oh, you in Morocco. Okay.
I'm in Morocco right now.
Okay. Okay. Well, I appreciate you. I appreciate
Yes.
you getting on. We got people in the same time who won't get on. You in Morocco and you on. So I
I
appreciate
had
it.
to.
So, I
I didn't know
had
you were
to,
gonna
had to.
call me, but I had to get on.
I'm glad you on. So listen, I'm gonna give you a quick tip. All right, in a situation like that, team, where Jacqueline was
Okay.
trying to convince me to buy these sponges, one of the first things the guy said in the first video is you got to ask questions. You got to ask me questions,
Mm.
Mr. Clark. Mr. Clark, this is Jacqueline. I was getting back to you, and I see that you requested, you were interested in these sponges. So what made you be interested in these sponges. You got to find out what am I interested in for. I might not want to wash my car. I might want those for my shower, but you ain't asked. You assumed I needed them for my car. I don't put no sponges on my car. I don't put no sponges on my bike. I put no sponges on no vehicles. So you got to ask, what made you interested in these sponges right here? Then I'm gonna tell you, well, you know what, Jacqueline? I was looking for them to clean my shower, and they look like they'll be good to use, plus the brush and clean it. You know, all right. Then you can go into. So when we call the client with this lead, we automatically try to sell them, and we don't ask them questions why they did it. I see you filled out this form. What made you decide you want to get this life insurance? Like why? Like why all of a sudden now? What was the reason? Do you see how the sale changes? Because now it gets off of you trying to be the expert talking about coverage and life insurance and what it does and this type and that type. Now it flips to the client to talk. And now the client is talking. And all you're doing is sitting back and listening. And as you're listening, it's like you got your gun. You write down everything they said so that when they say they don't want to do it, you read it right back to them. But you said that you did it for this. And you said you wanted for that. And you said, ain't that right, John? Yeah, that's right. And then you said you want to do 80%, they should be talking. But if you jump right into the lead and not find out why they did it, then that's where you get hung up on. Bam, I ain't want those sponges to wash my car. And as a good salesperson, you control the whole conversation by not saying nothing. You had them talking about why they did it. And after they finish talking, you know what? I can definitely help you with that today. Y'all see it? Every sales conversation, you got to find out why. If I was selling cars, if I had a car lot, and people, family come to the car lot, hey, what brings you to whatever the next rim shop is? What brings you here today? What made you decide to stop here at my car lot? What? How can I help you? They don't just see you walking up, and say, "Hey, let me show you this car over here. Let me show you this car. Let me show you this." No, they ask you, "What made you stop here? What? How can I help you? What are you looking for?" You go to a car dealership, do you automatically don't they ask you what you're looking for? What brought you in today? You looking for an SUV or you looking for a car? Why ain't we doing the same thing with our clients? What made you fill out the form today? Right? So definitely be on the call tomorrow morning. Hustle harder, hustle smarter is the book. Thank you, Jacqueline. Thank you. Definitely I commend you on that one. I commend you doing that. And you can get off the call, go ahead, go to bed. Probably time zone probably mess you up, but definitely appreciate you um playing along. And everybody else that got on today, we appreciate you. Thank you for getting on. And just remember, the Zoom you missed is the one you needed. You can put that in the chat, and we will see you guys tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., morning mindset. And we will start dialing right at 9 o'clock. We'll start dialing. I'm on a mission. I just want to say this. We got 6 agents that are trying to hit Hall of Fame annuity. And that is Christy, Leslie, Shaq, Jason Messenger, and myself. I have put it in my head that I'm going for Annuity Hall of Fame. I'm going to get Annuity Hall of Fame. Like I'm on a mission. I'm gonna make it happen. Y'all gonna watch me. I'm gonna find $800,000 more between now and the end of the year. The reason being, I like challenges. So it's gonna be fun. I'm gonna have fun doing it. I'm gonna dial tomorrow and this week because I'm looking for the money. And if I sell life insurance along the way, okay, I will. But I'm looking for the money. I'm asking every client, I'm going through my book of business and I'm hitting my clients up. You know what? You're about to retire 2 years ago. Did you retire? What did you do with that 401k? Oh, really? Oh, let me help you with that. I am on a mission to get it done. I want the blue jacket. I want to be the first agent with the red, the blue, and next year I'm gonna get the green for agency. I want all three. So I can hang them up on my wall. So I got to get the blue one first. It's going to be done. I'm going to knock it out. I'm getting that blue jacket. Plus, I want a new ring. I didn't know you could customize these. Ladies, you can customize this too. You can add diamonds and stuff. I wish I'd known. But the new one, I'm gonna add some diamonds to it, some extra diamonds. So it's gonna be fun. If y'all want to watch me run and get caught up in it, let's all run together. So let's make it happen. The fourth quarter starts October 1st. A lot can happen in the fourth quarter. So thank you, everybody. Appreciate y'all. See y'all tomorrow morning.